Welcome to week one. My name is Jason C. Brown. I'm very happy to be presenting on behalf of Nick over at Jiu-Jitsu Brotherhood. Very excited. Thank you very much, Nick. Week one starts off with half kneeling kettlebell swings and half get-ups. Half kneeling kettlebell swings are a very powerful exercise for several reasons, and I'll break those down. But let's first just cover some technical aspects. All right. Half kneeling is a very powerful position, but it's usually done in a more linear manner. Here, people press from here, people do chops and lifts from here. For our purposes and our context, I want you to open up almost to a 90-degree angle here. All right, this allows space for the kettlebell to travel through, and this should resonate with you as a jiu-jitsu player. Okay? The swing can be done a couple different ways. I prefer some degree of thumbs back. Thumbs back will mean different things to different people. It can be very extreme, thumb all the way back. In England, they say thumb in the bum. You're always going to favor this corner towards the thumb. Engage the lat, hike it back. Be sure to reach full hip extension on that supported side. Now, half kneeling swings are pretty hard to mess up, and that's one reason why I give them to my jiu-jitsu players. It's actually much more difficult to teach a standing two-arm or single-arm swing because a lot more can go wrong. This one is pretty hard to mess up. Spine stays neutral. You initiate the movement with your hips. As a jiu-jitsu player, that should make sense completely. Jiu-jitsu is all about the hips, and pretty much all of kettlebell training is also. Sit back with the hips, keep length in the spine, reach full hip extension here. The other way to grip the bell is using thumbs forward, still favoring that inside corner, or rather the corner towards the thumb. Engage the lat, hike it back, thumb forward. I will tell you, if you are a jiu-jitsu player and you have cranky elbows, thumbs forward may aggravate your elbow and your bicep tendon just because there's a little bit of a tug here on each repetition. To alleviate that, go to some manner or some degree of thumbs back. Now, half kneeling. Why is half kneeling very powerful? One, because it's very hard to mess up, but two, by putting my hip in this position here with the knee in flexion, I shorten my hamstrings. This is called passive insufficiency. Usually the hamstrings function as a good hip extensor, but by putting them into flexion, basically, it makes them hard to, they don't fire very well. The same goes for the quadriceps. This is called active insufficiency. Because it's under stretch, it doesn't fire very well. So that leaves the only thing acting on this hip really are your glutes. And you'll feel this pretty much immediately. And maybe the adductors on the support, this upside. There is some rotation, slight rotation, but it comes from the thoracic spine. That's the half kneeling swing. Our second movement is the half get up. We're only going to the hand on week one for specific reasons. I want this to feel very much like a bump sweep to you. There's some things to pay great attention to. This initial shin angle, this is where a lot of people go wrong. When they're doing get-ups, they try to make it into a sit-up, and that is, it's not going to work. You have to change this shin angle and elevate that hip. This should feel very much more like a roll, right? And a lot less like a sit-up. It's a multi-planar movement. It is not a sagittal plane exercise, all right? This arm, palm down, 45-degree angle from the torso. When we drive through this right heel, we initially change that shin angle. Boom. I want you to actively pull through with this left shoulder or the down shoulder, almost like you're doing a row. See, this should feel like a bump sweep a little bit. Shin angle is huge, and we'll cover that in the upcoming weeks. But we're going to go to the hand. Here, actively pull through on this side. Keep this vertical the entire time. Up onto the hand. Here is very important also. This is weak. This is a kimura. This is strong. Ears and shoulders are far away from one another. This is an active shoulder. I want you to play around with that. Actively push your shoulder away from your ear, because when we get to the full get up, this is the more important shoulder. This could have 36 pounds. This will have my chubby 220 plus 36 pounds. Open up here. Only one glute is on the floor. Cool? Notice this angle, also a 90-degree angle. And this will help us move into certain BJJ specific movements later on within the 4-week series.